Richard Bergen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The deaths of Palestinians, Iranians and Israelis this weekend shows why we must all push for peace and stop this spiralling out of control. Does the Foreign Secretary, like me, support a nuclear-free Middle East? And if so, what steps is the government taking to also address Israel's vast nuclear arsenal, thought to include at least 90 nuclear bombs, and which, let's not forget, one Israeli minister said should be used against the people of Gaza? And what is he doing about Israel's refusal to sign up to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and Israel's refusal to cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Authority?
Secretary.
I've got to say to the honourable gentleman that the story of Israel's nuclear ability goes back to the 1980s. Some long way. I remember studying this many, many years ago. So we work with Israel, of course, and we remain a country that wants to not see nuclear proliferation, and we will do everything we can to ensure that others do not get nuclear capability in the region.
Brendan O'Hara.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Let's be clear, there are no good guys in this conflict, but international law and the concept of preemptive self-defence does not exist in international law, and nor should it. But Israel's decision to unilaterally retaliate first has made the region, indeed the world, a much more dangerous and more unstable place. So to what extent does the Foreign Secretary believe that the impunity that Israel has enjoyed for previous acts of aggression and war crimes was a factor in Netanyahu's decision to retaliate first?
Foreign Secretary.
Can I just say to the honourable gentleman that we've had a very serious debate so far in this House this afternoon that recognises the serious threats that Iran's nuclear capability pose to the global community, recognise the existential threat that the Israeli people are facing. I have been absolutely clear that diplomacy is the way. Donald Trump is urging a path back to diplomacy. The UK, of course, was not involved, but I do think that we have to be minded about the many people in both Israel and Iran who are hiding in their bunkers at this time, fearing their loss of life.
Kit Malthouse.
Madam Deputy Speaker, of course all our thoughts are with the British citizens caught up in this horrible exchange, an alarming exchange of ordnance, but the Foreign Secretary said he was keeping his eye on Gaza. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's certainly the case that the eye of the world has been drawn to the footage that emerged as the missiles had flown, of young children shot and bleeding out their lives in the sands of Gaza. As you said, 50 people hospitalised over the weekend or shot dead while begging for food. And just this morning, 38 people killed while queuing for food or attempting to obtain food from the new American-sponsored distribution system. What comfort should all those bereaved families in Gaza take from the fact that he is keeping his eye on this situation?
Well, look, let me say to the right honourable gentleman, today, in my office, I was with a hostage family, a wonderful woman who lost her husband, who was there with her daughter, asking me to keep Gaza at the forefront of my mind and to raise it in the chamber this afternoon. And that's why there was an extensive part of that in my speech. I have spoken to all partners in the region. I will speak again very shortly to Prime Minister Mustafa, and we are absolutely clear that the aid needs to get in, that those hostages need to get out, and we want to see a ceasefire. And I will continue to talk and work with our American partners particularly, and our partners in Qatar, to bring about that ceasefire.
Lorraine Beavers.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have spent nearly a year in this chamber watching our country pleading with the Israeli government to de-escalate in Gaza. They have not. Strong words and desperate pleas haven't worked. Is now the time to recognise the state of Palestine as we promised in our manifesto? Is now the time to extend last week's welcome sanctions to other members of Netanyahu's regime, including the Prime Minister himself? If not now, when?
can I say to my honourable friend that I understand the strength of feeling she feels on Palestinian recognition, and she will know that we have always been clear that of course there's a role for recognition as part of a process, and we will continue to work with allies in the region and in Europe to bring about that process that brings about recognition and the two states that we hold dear.
We only have another 15 minutes to go, so long questions are just taken away from other colleagues. Christy Jardine.